Okay, we are now live. So, love technology, absolutely amazing. And yet again, it fails Stephen Brown, but there's no surprise there. I'm so excited today to be joined by Sanela. And why I'm so happy is that Sanela used to be one of my customers many, many years ago. And what's nice is we kept in contact and you are an amazing leadership coach, which we're going to touch on. So I'm very excited about. So thank you so much for making time today to join us on Lunchtime Learnings. So thank you all for listening, whether you're listening or whether you're watching. We're really grateful as well. So say hello. Please give Sanela some love, some hearts as well. So a lot of people think that Stephen Brown's just a consultant and wasn't an estate agent. So I don't know whether you had the pleasure or dubious pleasure of dealing with me, I think about 10 or 11 years ago in Crouch End. So for everybody listening or watching, what was your experience of Stephen Brown? I'm now going to cover my head, my ears, and be very careful with what you say.
Well,
I want you to be very honest.
Okay. Well, that's quite a courageous thing to do, to ask me about my experience in front of everyone. So that's you're practicing courage as we speak and vulnerability. So that's brilliant. No, I do remember, and I think what I remember. So I had a flat in Crouch End, and I just remember when you came around to talk to us, how personable you were, and how I don't know. We often say that, like, when we connect to people, like, how normal, like, how you had that trust thing. I felt you were authentic and genuine and just easy to talk to. That's what stood out for me. So I wasn't surprised, like, when we connected on LinkedIn, I wasn't kind of like, I'm just going to block him. So that was, I think that is probably the biggest testament, like, when we connect with people online, or sort of people want to stay in touch. And I genuinely like the fact that you stayed in touch with me, and every birthday you sent me a little note, and we sort of just communicated that way. So that is the, it was a really positive experience. So
good.
There you go.
At least I had one plan. I am. I can relax now.
You can relax.
No, because it's interesting, actually, because one of the things I talk about is you should actually speak to your previous clients to find out why you instructed the agent, because potentially that will give me a competitive edge. So, it's nice that you felt that you could trust me. You felt that I was authentic. You felt I was genuine. Obviously it's not about me, but it's what other agents can learn from what I was doing. So thank you. I can stop sweating now. I can relax. I can relax a little bit.
Yeah, I'll just have my £10 afterwards, please.
You're very welcome to it, and a Google review as well.
I like it.
So thank you. So you're now a leadership coach. So what does that entail? And I see you've got Brené Brown certified coach there going along, which is fantastic. And for people who actually don't know Brené Brown and maybe don't know who you are, so would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah. So
customer.
Yeah, I'm Sanela Lukanovic, and I'm a previous customer of Stephen Brown. No, I've been a leadership coach. Well, it's almost 2 decades now, and but I've been doing the work with Brené Brown since 2016. That kind of last 4 years. And I mean, leadership coaching, it's what essentially, and I call myself a transformational leadership coach because I work with helping people to get out of their own way. So that's how I can best describe that. And Brené Brown, certified coach. I'm one of the few certified coaches in the UK, and essentially her work, it's all about how can we be brave with our lives, with our jobs, with our relationships, and what do we do when we fall down in that pursuit of that bravery, in pursuit of being courageous and daring with our lives. And I do that work in kind of, in my private practice and with corporates. And I've recently started taking that work to parent leaders, because I think those are the skills that I think the whole society needs, braver leaders, and for all of us collectively to be more courageous and go for things that matter to us.
Brilliant. So I did a little bit of research and I've come up with this quote that I found from Brené Brown. So courage is contagious. Every time we choose courage, we make everyone around us a little better and the world a little braver, which I think is lovely. So what made you become a Brené Brown certified coach then?
That work came to me at a time in my life, both personally and professionally, where I was sort of done with ticking other people's boxes. Like, I was sort of, I've achieved a lot, but I felt that I was constantly thinking and living up to other people's expectations. So other people's idea of what success looks like. And I remember thinking for myself at that time that I just wanted, although I was doing all of those things, it just never felt enough. And I never felt that I was actually doing my thing. So I wasn't, and it was a funny conversations to have, like, with my husband. It was like, but hold on, you've done this and that, and you've, earned that much. I was like, well, it's just not, I feel something's missing. So I found her work, and I did an online course with her, which was the Gifts of Imperfections. And that's when I realized that I'm a perfectionist. And I thought for all my life that, that's a good thing. But I really, through her research and her work, I realized that actually that is the very thing that stops me from being brave. And that was the reason I wasn't ever satisfied. And the other thing that I was kind of struggling at the time is excessive self-criticism. And I see that in a lot of people, high achievers that I coach, is that, we tend to drive ourselves so hard, but never kind of give ourselves full credit for what we do. And then I mean, my story of getting a credit is a little bit strange, because I knew first time I heard her work, I knew that I would be certified in doing that, in taking that work to others. But I didn't realize that I would travel from Germany, where I lived at the time, all the way to Sydney, Australia, for 7 days. So I flew out on Sunday. I came back on the following Monday to spend 4 days of training with Brené and her team, and then continued training after, for that year. But that just gives you a sense of commitment. And also, it's a testament to her work, because at that time when I did it, I've already been in the field for so long, and I can tell you that I consumed massive amounts of this work. So it's just a phenomenal work, and that's what made me do it.
Okay, so if I bring it back to a state agency,
Yeah.
there's a few people out here. So one of the things at the moment is videos and maybe doing Facebook Lives and stuff like this.
Yeah.
And actually, it's very scary for doing
Mm.
it. So how can people just start and done beats perfect, especially in my case, because it's definitely not perfect. But how can people, just make that start? As you said, it's about, and I love I saw on your LinkedIn page, you talk about showing up, be seen, and live brave. So actually, if I come back to that, what does show up actually mean?
Showing up. So let's kind of think about the video. So let's say that making a video is what Brené talks about as an arena. It's an arena moment, which means arena is anything where we want to, anywhere in our lives where we want to show up. We want to go in that space and make a difference. And it requires that, if you think about an arena, like, if you imagine a corridor that leads all the way to an open arena. So you need, going down the corridor, it's quite scary. This is where we kind of think, oh my God, if I, what will happen, And I think two things happen as we go down that corridor. We start thinking, am I good enough? Okay, am I, clever, articulate, witty, knowledgeable, engaging, whatever that might be? Am I enough? And then we start thinking about the outcome. What will happen once we get that video out? And that is, and we stress either simultaneously about those, both of these things, or we focus on one. So I think the first thing, and actually the very first thing, so those are the kind of two issues that you constantly deal with when you want to show up. But the decision to actually go and make that video, you have to have a very strong idea of your why. You have to understand what is the, in this work, I talk about what are the values that drive you. And that would actually make you even think about going down this corridor, which could be, sometimes a long one. So knowing, being very clear on your values, like, what, and I, the best way to think about it is like, what if, what actually drives you, and what if you haven't, if you don't have it in your life, would make you regret your life in a kind of, as you look back at your life, at your career. So you really have to know the reason why you're doing it.
Okay. So again, it comes down to fear, and a lot of people have fear.
Yeah.
And a lot of people won't take that first step. So, how can you just take that first step to at least feel a little bit better? So it's like, if I want to go for a run in the morning, at least if I put my trainers by the side of my bed when I wake up and fall over them, I know then that's my prompt. Well, actually, it may be raining, it may be freezing cold, but go on, let's do it, rather than actually they're in the cupboard and I've got to get out of bed and I've got to go to the cupboard and I've got to go and get them, and my bed's a lot more comfortable. So here you go. We've got a lovely comment from Vicky. Obsessed with Brené Brown. Thanks for bringing Sanela on, Stephen.
Oh, fabulous.
And
yes,
Vicky's a fantastic lady. She's,
fabulous. Hello, Vicky.
Exceptional agency in Stoke Newington.
Oh, fabulous. Yeah. So okay. So how do you? So I think that there are a couple of things that you're touching on there. So the first thing when we look at the fear, we the first place you start, you have the how-tos. So what you were talking about there is the how-tos. How do I make this as easy as possible for myself to make it happen? What I find, like, especially when we talk about videos, that you have to understand, when you think about making a video, for example, you have to understand, is this that, are you not making that because you don't feel that, you intrinsically feel that you are not good enough? Like, you're feeling like, I'm just rubbish at this, or, you have a sense of that something that you need to work on yourself before you do it. So is this the mindset thing? Do you need to reframe that? Or is it this bit like, actually, I'm quite open to idea of making it, but I don't have a clue, what sort of, what technology do I need? How do I record it? Who edits it? Do I need to go, do I need to do it live, or do I need to have somebody, there's the how-tos, okay, of that. Is it the skill, or is it the mindset? And I think and to me, like, when you know that it's a mindset, then you do the stuff that you just described. Like, okay, so, who do I need? Who do I know who does this well? I can talk to them, blah, 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 blah. Now, people stop doing that side of things when they feel that, they are not good enough at doing, they won't be able to pull it off. So they have the belief issue. And with that one, what Brené's work helped me transform and reframe the way I think about this. So we all, first of all, understanding that we all, regardless of whether you are making videos at the moment or not making videos, we all have this feeling that I'm not good enough feeling. That's what Brené defines as shame. We have it. We all have it. We all have that moment. So understanding that is a kind of, we're leveled. We are all the same in that sense. So when you go in to do something important, you will have a little voice that says, who do you think you are? You think you should be making videos? What will people think? Okay, so that happens to all of us. Now, so that was the first thing that transformed me. Second thing was that you have to understand that when you have those voices, instead of kind of thinking about all the people, what will other people think, and you focus on your critics, which is what most of us do. We go into these arenas and we kind of think, okay, we hear all these critical voices that we have picked up, throughout our lives, and we go in there and we stand in the middle of our arenas and we kind of, fixate ourselves at the critics, and we put the volume up and we just soak it all in, yeah? And we get paralyzed and we can't do it. So what Brené's research, what she asked herself, so what do people who are brave with their lives, what do they do? And this changed my life, is that people who go into their arenas, they do not focus on the critics. They know that the critics are there. They know what triggers their I'm not enough messages. They know what they are, and they know what the critics would say. They know their worst nightmare, okay? And they're okay. But they also have two seats in their arenas that they pay attention to. And those seats are empathy and self-compassion. And just to put it in the context of a video, so like, you go out there, you do your video and it bombs. It's like, nobody likes it. Somebody makes a nasty comment about it, whatever. Yeah. In that moment, you get triggered into not feeling good enough. Empathy means that I have my friend Stephen, I can call, and you who, let's say that you're sitting in my support seat. Your job is not to make me feel good. Your job is not to make, say, oh, it's okay, it doesn't matter, nobody saw it, you'll do another one, blah, blah, blah. Your job is not to fix it, because at that point, I'm feeling crap because, my video bombed, yeah? So the person in our empathy seat is just there to say, oh my God, I know how that feels. I know I have an experience in my life where I came short, and it's and just to validate that, you know, I put a lot of effort in there, it didn't work out, and I'm feeling crap. That's all the job. You know, that's, we all want to be seen. We all want to be witnessed in our struggle. So you have somebody, so when you have those I'm not enough messages, you have a person in your empathy seat who can just, you can connect with. They don't want to fix you. They don't judge you. That's another important thing. They're not judging you for your shortcomings, but they're just reminding you, hey, you're being brave because, you know, you want to give the best opportunity to your child, or you have, you know, you are doing this because you want to be the best agent that you can, or whatever your why. You know, we go back to that. Well, you know, what's your value? What's your why? What's your why? And the second seat in the arena is that of self-compassion. And that's what, unfortunately, that seat has always been empty for me. And that's what I see most often, that people leave empty. And that seat basically means, do I have my own back? Do I have my own back? And what often happens, because we are almost trained to believe that, you know, by being self-critical when we fall down, or as we are going into the arena, by being really critical of all our shortcomings, like, you know, with a magnifying glass, you know, like, you know, we look into our shortcomings and being harsh on ourselves, we believe that that's how we, you know, keep ourselves going. But actually, research is overwhelming in showing that that's not the case. So we need to. I mean, I'm talking of my own experience. I had to learn how to be, in, you know, my best friend. How to have my own back. I call it, you know, commit to having your own back, which essentially means that I am going to choose, witnessing my, you know, understanding that it's hard for me when I don't do things right, rather than kind of saying, you know, oh, you will never make it. Oh, that was horrible. Oh my God, did you see that? That was, you know, that's it. End of story for you. So those are the things that when you see being brave as in those terms, and when you have your those things lined up, and having, you know, your support organized in that way, and when you understand that, you know, doing anything brave can only happen if you also accept that you will fall, because that is something that we struggle with, that we kind of think that, you know, miraculously it's not going to happen to us, but it, you know, it's the other coin of the other side of courage.
Okay, so Sarah's just said, and thanks very much for joining, Sarah. Be kind to yourself, more so now than ever.
Yes.
And another one that's absolutely assessed with Brené Brown.
Yay! I love Brené Brown. Try.
There you go. So again, people watching this, and if I bring it back, we talked about videos, and another common theme is in estate agency is picking up the phone and prospecting and trying to get more market appraisals. People have fear of picking up the phone, making these calls, and I like the way you talk about, you know, seeing it as a bigger picture, and understand it's a bigger picture. But the reason why a lot of people hate making the calls is because they get rejected, you know. So it's right, thanks very much, no, bye, next one, no, bye, no, not interested, no, not interested, and it just knocks them down and knocks them down and knocks them down. How can they understand to see that, you know, the benefit is for the long term, and that they are building relationships, and to be actually brave to make the calls? People find that very challenging.
Yes. Yeah, and I understand that. I think the reason it's so challenging to receive the no, it's because human beings, we are wired to connect with another human being. So that's if you strip everything else, that is the basic need of ours. So obviously, every time when you make a call, you have that fear of disconnection, of rejection. So and this is also depend. It will depend. Like if somebody will take it really hard, and somebody will just brush it off, like it's just not my thing. And the difference between you can, and that will tell you what's happening for you. So when you get a no, and you feel bad about who you are, you say like, I'm really crap at this, I am, it touches that sense of who you are, that you'll know that at that moment your shame has been triggered. So I am not enough is being triggered. And when you get that no, and you can say, okay, that no did not land at me, it actually landed at this thing not this thing, but this thing that I was offering. So I was offering to do an evaluation, and this evaluation that I was offering got a no. So it's external. It's something that I'm doing has gotten a no, versus who I am has gotten a no. So really separating, and I think, there's a lot of research that shows that women tend to, internalize the no more, like a rejection, because it's often perceived, and there are different reasons for that, but it's kind of like, it's about who I am. So the best thing, is to separate who you are from what you do, and externalize. And when we are putting, when we are doing stuff like that, where you have to get a lot of no's to get to a yes, that is such a crucial distinction. It's a small, but a crucial distinction. So when you are making that call, if you and I do a lot of work where the embodiment work, which actually that no, you can kind of say, oops, oh, look at that no, it just fell. Oh, my proposal just got a no. That's okay. It's nothing to do with me. I'm still the same Sanela who I was before I made a call. Now, if you do struggle with, if this is a struggle, if this is, if you know that, every no makes you feel like you are not good enough, I would say you do some coaching, you do some personal work, so to understand your I'm not good enough messages, and you work on that. That's what you do. I mean, and if you're lucky enough to already use, you have a detachment between you and what you do, then I'm sure those people actually don't have a bigger issue, a big issue of doing it. So yeah, that's I would offer that as a reframe.
Thank you. So Sarah is a fantastic chairperson of a charity called Agents Together, and she does the most incredible job coordinating it and doing brilliantly. And one of the things at the moment, obviously not just in the state agency, but out there, is people feeling very vulnerable at the moment. And I know that's part of Brené's work, the power of vulnerability. Is there some tips, insights you can help people that are feeling vulnerable this morning? I spoke to an estate agent this morning who is really struggling at the moment. Been working, and her colleagues have been working incredibly hard. And I suppose people can argue, well, estate agents, you're in a very fortunate industry because you're allowed to work, and hospitality are suffering. But I see so many agents, and speaking to so many agents, that they're burning out. They're absolutely exhausted. The mind's not in the right place. Again, is there anything you can offer on tips on vulnerability? I like what Sarah was saying about being kind to yourself as well.
Yeah, and I think it's actually what I love what you did there is you've identified one of the things that we do when we listen to somebody's suffering, like, you know, that person you spoke to, regardless of the fact that hospitality is doing, you know, there are people who are worse off. The fact that somebody has told you that they are in a bad shape or in a bad spot, that is the moment where we do not try to compare it to somebody else suffering and make them feel better because somebody else suffers more. So I think it's the best thing that we can do for each other in those times is really acknowledge that it is what it is, that it is hard, and the suffering, you know, the greatest suffering in hospitality doesn't make, you know, a struggle that an estate agent has any better. So I think, you know, getting rid of that comparison is crucial. And I think, you know, having somebody, so the fact having somebody in that empathy seat and being good at, you know, listening to people, because we, you know, there is nothing you can say to anyone when they are struggling that would make, you know, that would kind of make their struggle instantaneously better. You know, there's rarely anything that we can say to if ever, like, but what we can is hold that space and acknowledge and help them process that, so that they can go back on their feet. And I think that's, I mean, we've been in this strange and really tough times for, you know, for so long, and we are running out of, you know, we're really running out of patience and steam, and it has been hard. So the best we can do for each other is really be there for each other, and that is the antidote for vulnerability is empathy.
Thank you. Thank you. So you talked about you work with a lot of high achievers. What are the qualities that you see of high achievers? What makes them high achievers?
I think this, you know, you said that at the beginning, like, you know, to show up, be seen, and be brave. I think there are two types of high achievers, and I'm kind of now more and more working into trying to get people. So two. Let me finish that. So two type. You have high achievers who drive themselves forward on a sheer grit and kind of determination, and I'm going to do it. And there's lots of suffering, internal suffering, like, you know, people achieve a lot but do not feel great about themselves, or they burn out, or, you know, they compromise, you know, they don't show up authentically enough, so that they feel, you know, they just feel fraud. Like, basically the person under the the cloak of a high achiever is suffering. And then you have a different high achiever who embraces, you know, vulnerability, who has done the work on, you know, the not feeling enough, because we all, as I said, we all have it. I want everyone to understand that even the people who are going out there doing videos and doing all the amazing stuff, we all have that I'm not enough. And they do it with self-compassion, and they have an extremely good support around them. Those kind of high achievers who are kind of driving by themselves, like, you know, lone wolves, like, you know, I'm going to achieve regardless of what you know, what everybody says. That only lead to burnout and dissatisfaction. And I have to say, I used to be very much in this category. And I think, you know, here it's more sort of, you know, wholehearted, more holistic, and more long-term. So people, high achievers who align their values with their passions, they align, you know, they know why they're doing things, so that when it's hard, you know, they kind of say, okay, yes, you know, I'm doing this because my value in my life is to make a difference. So therefore, I'm going to show up for Stephen's podcast, and I'm, so, be what may, we'll see what will happen, but I'm going to do my best. I'm going to, do you know what I mean? Like, that is the very different achieving. It's still scary. It's still, people still say no, still you have bad days, but you kind of, the reason that I love Brené's work and this metaphor of the arena is that it gives perspective to who matters, and that's not critics. And what do I need to do when I fall? How do I need to support myself, and who do I need to support me? So I don't know if I answered that question, but they are people, people who have a very strong reason for doing what they're doing, and they're prepared to do put the hard work. And I think we underestimate the amount of hard work that that people who achieve stuff put in the background.
Okay, so I'm really grateful for your time, and so I'm not going to keep you much longer. So thank you. What do you do to self-improve? So obviously as a coach, you're constantly learning, I presume. You took yourself, as you said, to Sydney for 7 days to learn.
2 days of which was in travel.
I know. I went to Australia for a big real estate conference.
Okay.
I think we slept for the first day of the conference whilst we were there. We were just so jet lagged. It was awful. But put me off now. So yeah. So what do you do?
What do I do?
Yeah.
I mean, I told you at the beginning, this is my passion. This is why I'm here. So I read crazy amounts of books. I listen to podcasts. I mean, that's my constant background. I pay. Only this year I've paid for to be in a mastermind. I've paid other coaches to coach me. So I've since July, for example, this year, I've been in a one-to-one coaching, working with somebody who is gone ahead, who I admire. They are doing the work that I love. They're doing it in a way that I like. This is an important thing. When we want to do stuff that, like videos, you need to find your way of doing it. So I pay a lot of money and invest my own time to have people challenge me and develop me all the time, and I do. I practice. I mean, one of the practices that have helped me tremendously, well, last couple of years, is using tapping, which is just a way of processing and quickly kind of getting rid of the negative energy, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not. Just I do things on a daily basis. So some people journal, I tap, and I speak into my phone. This is my coach, daily coach. Yeah. I will drive around and I will digest my thoughts. I will get clarity by speaking into that, and then get home and say, okay, right. So I'm kind of a bit of a self-development. I don't know, junkie.
A couple of books you can recommend, please.
I would recommend for Brené's book for sure. So Daring Way and Rising Strong. But the book that I read recently, which is just here, it's The Wolf Pack.
Okay.
So this is a leadership book on it's Abby Wambach and the new rules of leadership. I like that one. I'm reading Obama's biography. I love that one. And the one that I also, it's called Pandora Speaks. But you'll forgive me. Let me just see. Yeah, no, it's not Pandora, but Cassandra. Cassandra Speaks. Okay. It's a phenomenal book. It really is. But that's more about women in leadership, because I do focus on women and leadership and helping women play a bigger game. So
fantastic. Look, thank you so much for your time. So
thank
for
you.
people watching or listening, how do they get hold of you, please?
Oh, okay. So the best thing is probably LinkedIn. I used to have a web page, personal web page, but most of my personal clients kind of are word of mouth, so I stopped bothering with that. But yeah, LinkedIn, and also I do leadership for parents. So on groundedparents.group. Is a website, and actually people can contact me through that. But maybe I can leave. I don't know if you leave an email address in comments or something. I can give you that, and
yeah, you can post a comment in there with all your details, which would be great. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Nice to reminisce at the start, and thank you for saying some nice words about me. That's very kind. So thank you everybody for watching today and for listening. Really grateful. Tomorrow morning I'm going to be joined by a guest from Australia at 7 a.m. called Chris Helder, who's an international keynote speaker, who's also has TED Talks as well, bestseller author. So please join me tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock to listen to Chris. Funnily enough, he was one of the speakers I heard at ARIC in 2018. So looking forward to hearing him. Sanela, thank you so much for your time. Thank you everybody for watching, and have a really productive afternoon. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.